Hello there, and welcome to the Novel Nostalgic Project.
Welcome to the podcast where we can't do intros.
Yeah, I can't pronounce our own podcast name. It's fine.
We're nailing it out here. It's
Yep,
all good.
it's fine. Hello, and welcome to the Novel Nostalgic Podcast. My name's Rachel.
And I'm Nova, and this is a podcast where we talk about the novels that make us nostalgic. Okay, why is that actually good?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's fine. It's perfect. I love it. Best take. Take two is the one. That's what we'll go with. It's fine.
Amazing. We nailed it that time.
So today we're going to be discussing the first book in the Warrior Cats series, Into the Wild. So Into the Wild is by Erin Hunter. It's the first book. That's what I literally just said. It's fine. So the book follows the story of a young cat named Rusty who is living as a kitty pet in a two-leg home. Rusty's life changes as he discovers wildcats. He sets out on a journey to find his true home. As he journeys, he meets other wildcats, discovering the warrior code they live by and learning about the forest. He battles through many hurdles as he strives to demonstrate his worth as a warrior, eventually getting the name Firepaw. Firepaw is inducted as an apprentice into the Thunder Clan, one of the 4 warrior clans that inhabit the forest. He discovers their customs and is part of the competitive tussle between clans for power and land. Throughout the book, Firepaw grapples with his identity, whether he is truly a kitty pet or a warrior, and ultimately makes a difficult decision about where he belongs. This book is action-packed and filled with adventure, and it's a great introduction into the world of warrior cats. That's the summary I've got.
That works.
Excellent.
This was, I think you said it was your, intro into reading, right?
Yeah, this was, like a lot of little kids had Harry Potter. This is my Harry Potter. I was obsessed.
It is so good. When we started this, being hey, we should do this podcast, I have now read into the 5th or 6th series now. I have been buying the graphic novels like there's no tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm like, oh no, my wallet does not thank me for this podcast.
It's a tax write-off now. It's fine.
Right? That's how I'm just gonna go about it. Look, it's for a business. Okay, sure. Everyone's gonna be like, okay, Crete, okay, here she is buying children's books. It's for my business.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a great time doing my taxes and saying, you know what, Scribd and Kindle Unlimited are both for my business. So
right.
tax write-off, obviously. But I when I first read this, I was absolutely obsessed with it, and I was not sure if it was going to hold up. When we decided to do this, I was like, I really loved this series, but I was not sure how I was going to feel about it reading it again as an adult. And tell me why it's so good.
It just slaps.
It's
so good.
Yeah, most kids' books, when you read it as an adult, you're kind of like, they're definitely talking down to you the whole time, and this does not do that at all, which is nice.
Yeah. The only thing with Warriors is that they have a lot of continuity with the cats. A lot of errors. Yeah. Some of which we will talk about in the podcast because it happens right in the first series. But I did learn the first series was supposed to be one book.
Mm.
And then HarperCollins was like, how about we make 6? So I was like, okay, I can kind of see how things would get a little scrambled.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. That makes sense. I think, honestly, when you have a series this big with this many cats, and especially we know how quickly cats, populate, you'd have to have the biggest flow chart on your office space. You know what I mean?
Have you seen the family tree on the website?
I tried and it like does not load very well. Like it
It's
breaks
so
every time I try
big.
and do it. I know. It's kind of a mess. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I remember when it was a lot smaller,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh, I'll go back and like see how it looks." And it was like loading, loading, loading. And then the things were like so tiny. I was like, "What is this on my screen?" I zoomed in. I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh, these are all cats."
Mhm.
Good lord.
Yep.
So that was
Yeah.
an adventure in itself.
Truly.
Warriors was not my, like you said, Harry Potter. I got into reading when I was like itty bitty because I got read to every night. So by the time I was in kindergarten, I was at like second grade reading level. And yeah, I was reading a lot. But I do remember this one was in seventh or eighth grade. We had the like AR reading stuff, the points
Mhm.
system. I don't remember if you had that or not. I think we talked about it once, but I can't remember.
I don't think I did.
But basically, like you read a book, you take a quiz, and it gives you points. And depending on what your reading level is, like they give you points per quarter to try and hit for your reading goal, which I thought was pretty awesome. And most kids had like a 20-point reading goal. I had like 100, 150, you know.
Yeah.
And I got into Warriors when me and another student read the first one about the same time. And somehow inadvertently we're like, we're racing to see who can finish this series. Let's go.
Yep.
And he had the first 4 books at home already. The first 4 were in the library, and then 5 and 6, neither of us had access to. So I got my parents to buy them for me so I could win this little race.
Yeah.
So that is my
I
first experience with Warrior.
I remember I read the first series and binged it and got the
Mhm.
second series. And then that was kind of when my parents were like, all right, we can't keep like buying you books. You're kind of going through them a little too fast. So, and I was like, why?
Right. My family
And they,
was like, "Oh, you want more books?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're
Mhm.
like, is poor, cannot afford. Here, go to the library."
Yeah.
I was that kid that got to take out more than the library allowed because I read so much.
Mm. I got into illegally downloading books because I didn't have access to anything else and I didn't know better. I was like, oh,
Rachel's out here admitting to crimes.
well, okay, so here's the problem is that young me saw these websites and they always market them as a free library. So I was
Yeah,
like, libraries are supported by the government. So of
that's
course it's
fair.
free, you know? So I didn't know that it was wrong. Okay? I have since learned. I have since learned. However, little me was like, la 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 la, free book. Like I read like a junkie, okay? I got
Mhm,
an original iPad and I had so many books on that thing that it
mhm.
like was slow. It was hard to open
Yeah.
apps, okay? But I read all the time and I downloaded them onto my phone and things like that too and I had some on my computer
Mhm.
and that was the only way I could really get books cuz we didn't have like our elementary school we were allowed to go to the library, but like middle school you kind of weren't. Like
Ugh.
we didn't have a way to go. Like middle school, I think we still had some access, but by the time I was in high school, there was no if you took the bus, there was no way to actually go to the library ever because you couldn't go before school. You can't
That's
go during
dumb.
lunch. Yeah. So it was very difficult to actually be able to check out books, and I didn't know how to go about it.
I now much appreciate the fact you'd be like, if you had downtime, like in high school, like if you're in
Mhm.
study hall, you could be like, "Hey, can I go to the library?" And they'd write you a pass, and you could go to the library.
We didn't even have study hall.
Or like just even like sometimes you'd have like a study day in a class. If you finished all your
Yeah.
work and you were like, "Can I go to the library?" They're like, "Yeah, go to the library, have fun."
Yeah, no one told me how to get to the library, like how to like be able to
Yeah.
enjoy the library. Like nobody discussed it, and our library wasn't huge.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part about the Florida school system is people assume you just can't read. So um, I like if it wasn't for a class in which everybody had to check out the book, or like some classes I even had to like buy the book to read it. Yeah.
In high school?
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah. Like I remember I had to like especially over the summers, they always assigned a reading and we had to buy the book over
Okay,
the
yeah, we did
summer.
have to do that in the summer.
Yeah. But I remember that there just wasn't enough copies to go around and there wasn't really enough time to read it during class. So I ended up like buying a Kindle version of a couple of the books.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they were like, it's only yeah, okay, I specifically remember a high school teacher telling me, "Well, it's only $2 on Kindle, so everyone's just going to have to buy it." And I was like, "Sir, I do not have a credit card." So,
Hello, I am a child still. What do you mean I have to
yeah.
buy things?
Yeah.
I
So,
still live at home. My parents pay rent. I do not pay for anything.
yeah. That might have been one of the times I also illegally downloaded, but I probably knew it was wrong by that point.
Possibly. Probably.
Yeah. But it was for a class and I didn't really it's not like I could just not read it, you know?
Yeah.
So, whatever. I try and support authors now, but
I
at the time,
now the only thing you should be illegally downloading is textbooks that cost an arm and a leg. We will
yes,
support that. We do not support
yes,
illegally downloading any other content from authors.
exactly. That's why Scribd exists, okay? Like, you pay one monthly fee and you can get as much as you want. It still pays the author. Like, if I
Mhm.
had known that existed while I was in high school, actually, no, I didn't really have a job until I was like a senior. But, however, if I had that option, I probably would have gone that route. But here we are.
Right.
I am good. Now I'm rereading everything I would have read as a kid anyways, so whatever.
There
You
you
can
go. Now
tell.
you're supporting.
But anyways, into the wild.
Okay. Let's do this. Are we ready? I've got the
Yes,
detailed notes here. We're gonna enjoy.
I'm ready to rumble.
All right. Just so y'all know, this is not spoiler free.
Yeah.
We are like in detail going over these and just reliving our nostalgia with y'all. So we'll
Mhm.
probably say that like every time, but just so you know, this is not a spoiler free podcast. Have fun.
Yep.
We start out immediately in a battle. ThunderClan and RiverClan, of course, are going at it over Stunning Rocks because there's this long battle over Stunning Rocks. And then Blue Star and Spotted Leaf. Blue Star is the leader of ThunderClan, Spotted Leaf is a medicine cat. And Spotted Leaf gets a prophecy. Fire alone can save our clan. And Blue Star is kind of like, what? Fire? Okay. We love sassy Blue Star.
Mhm, mhm. Queen energy.
Right? Like, okay, sure. Don't know how that works, but if you insist. Uh and then after this lovely prophecy that we get, we go right to Rusty, who is living the kitty pet life, and he's dreaming of the forest. Because the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
In this case, it probably is.
Yep.
Ending on the forest, and you know? So he's like, I'm gonna go get a mouse. And he wakes up and he's like, here we go. I'm going to go into the forest. I'm going to get a mouse. I'm going to experience the wild. And his neighbor Smudge is like, there's, and I quote, huge wildcats who eat live rabbits for breakfast and sharpen their claws on old bones. Smudge is just
Top
like,
tier.
don't go. Don't go. And Rusty's like, meh, I'm going. It'll be fine. I just want a mouse. And he's kind of like stalking a mouse when Graypaw attacks him. And at first, Rusty is like, oh, gotta go. Gotta run. And then he's like, no, no, no. He turns and fights. And Graypaw is like, wow, I didn't know you could fight like that for a kitty pet. That is not quoted. I don't know exactly what he said, but that's kind of the mood.
It's similar, yeah.
And so who comes out of the bushes but Lionheart and Blue Star, and they're like, hey, you did really good. And are asking him why he's there and whatnot. And Rusty's like, I just want a mouse and there's enough to go around. Blue Star not having it.
Yep. She's like, what did you just say?
Yeah. She's like, no, there's not. We can barely feed ourselves. What do you expect? Like, scolds him. And he kind of gets his first lesson on how the clans work from this. And Blue Star and Lionheart kind of share like a little like moment, and then they're like, do you want to join, Rusty? You know, you stood and fought against a cat who's bigger than you, and you held your own pretty good, and that's without training and growing up in the wild. Like, you're a kitty pet. You came out of your nice soft bed and fought this guy. We could use you. So Rusty goes home. He says he's going to decide and tell him the next day. And he has another mouse dream about catching a mouse. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to go live in the wild. So he tells Smudge, and they spend the morning together, like their last day together, which I think is so cute. And
It's
like,
really cute.
sorry, I'm leaving you, but let's hang out. Let's be buds for one more day. So Lionheart comes back with White Storm this time. And they're like, did you decide? And he's like, yep, I'm coming with you. And so then they get back to camp, and they're all kind of like, what is this kitty pet doing here? Because, you know, that's one of their warrior rules is no kitty pet. You cannot be a kitty pet. Like, a warrior doesn't give up their life for their soft, cushy kitty pet life. Why did you bring a kitty pet? He's still got, like, a bell and a collar on. And they're like, what is he doing here?
Yeah.
Okay. And Blue Star's
is
like,
we're gonna collar on?
Yeah, he's got a collar on at this point.
I forgot that part.
He's got the collar on. And Blue Star is like, he's gonna be an apprentice. So Longtail starts putting up a fuss. It is like, like very degrading on Rusty, and he's kind of sitting next to Lionheart and I think it's Lionheart. It's either Lionheart or White Storm. And they're like, are you gonna back down from a challenge? And so Rusty is like sitting there pretending like nothing's wrong, and then he pinpoints Longtail and just boom, attacks.
Yep.
Longtail is like, holy crap.
What the hell was that?
Yeah. What in the heck? He is taken completely off guard because here this kitty pet is just like, hiya! Out of nowhere, attacks him. So they start like tussling, fighting. Rusty damages Longtail's ear, which he does not hesitate to bring up again and again and again and again throughout the series. Whenever Longtail is being a little bitch to him, Firepaw, well, Rusty becomes Firepaw Fireheart, will sit there and be like, I did that to his ear. So as they like further on, they become more, the word just escaped me. They kind of become more, yeah. They grow a mutual respect and grow to like each other and be comfortable with each other. It doesn't happen as much. It's only when Longtail pisses him off. He's like, I did that to his ear.
Still adorable.
Right? He's like, haha, how's it feel to have a kitty pet damage your ear? But then Longtail bites off his collar, or breaks his collar. So the collar is now free, which they're all like, oh, it's a sign from StarClan. Because it's now gone. So
Why was he not wearing a breakaway collar to begin with?
I don't know.
Or maybe he was, and like when they were tussling, it pulls off.
Yeah, because I think Longtail just grabs it and pulls and it snaps.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure if he bites it and it comes off, or if he pulls it and snaps.
This is your reminder to always put your cats in a breakaway collar.
Yes.
It's importante.
Any animal that's out by itself, please do.
Yeah.
And microchip them.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, even if they don't have a collar, they can find their way home through people. Yeah. But, yes. So, Blue Star then gives him the name of Firepaw. So, Rusty is no more, it is Firepaw now. And about this time, Ravenpaw comes barreling into camp, and he's like, Redtail is dead. Everyone immediately is like, oh my god, that's our deputy. What the heck is going on? And halfway through the story, Ravenpaw just like passes out. Down he goes. Tiger Claw comes striding in with Redtail's body, dragging it. And so Firepaw kind of sits and watches as all the cats say goodbye to Redtail. And so he's kind of like, I don't really know what to do. Like, I'm new here. What do I do? So he kind of watches Ravenpaw a little bit. And Tiger Claw harasses Ravenpaw, but Spotted Leaf, good old Spotted Leaf, immediately puts him in his place. It's like, no, go away. So Grey Paw begins to show Firepaw around camp while all this is going on, while people are like taking care of Redtail and whatnot. Lionheart ends up becoming deputy after this. And then, of course, we start getting the other apprentices, Sandpaw and Dustpaw, especially, are very rude to Firepaw. They're like, you are a kitty pet. No. You don't deserve respect, basically. They're just little jealous babies. So cranky. But it happens. So Firepaw's trading begins. So Lionheart and Tiger Claw take on Firepaw as temporary mentors until Blue Star gets him a mentor. Which I always wondered why she didn't just give him one right in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, here's a apprentice ceremony where you're going to be Firepaw and no mentor. Like,
yeah.
What? It just seemed really weird.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Maybe she was waiting to see if he'd last or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it still just seemed weird of like, why wouldn't you just give him to somebody?
Mm-hmm.
And then go from there. Like, if it didn't work out, then it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But here, we're just going to play Past the Apprentice. Mm-hmm. Who's going to get him today?
Pretty much.
Who's lucky enough to get the kitty pet today?
This series made me look at my cat differently, though. Like, rereading this first book, I was like, looking at my cat, I'm like, you like living here, right?
Right? It's like, do you not want to live with me? Do you want to go be in the forest?
So she's a Sphinx cat, and if she went in the forest, she'd get sunburned and die.
Well, she'd be in the forest. She'd be under trees.
We live in Florida.
Oh, there was the beginning of the book. What did it say? Hold on. I gotta bring it up on script. It was so cute. The dedication. I remember we talked about this at one point because we were like, oh, it's so cute. And I gotta read this to you all because I forgot to write it down and I am mad. So
Could be like that.
I gotta find it real quick. But basically, they're gonna show Firepaw around the territory. He finally gets to catch a mouse, and he is like, oh, mouse is delicious. He is so excited. It is better than his dreams. He's so happy. And of course, his best friend now, Grey Paw, is comic relief gold. Just if you need comedy, you go see Grey Stripe. He
Yep.
is the best. We love our gray fluffy boy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, the dedication of this book says, "For Billy, who left our two-leg home to become a warrior, we still miss him very much. And for Benjamin, his brother who is with him now in Starkland."
Ah,
Like, I was like, oh, my heart.
yeah,
It's just so cute. Like, aw.
yeah,
We cannot. Hunter's coming out with the emotional dedications. It's fine.
yeah. So good. Ah,
So, Greypaw and Firepaw are out hunting, and Firepaw ends up seeing a Shadow Clan cat. Firepaw meets Yellowfang when she attacks him. They kind of scuffle a bit, and then she's like, "Oh, just kill me. Like, it's fine. Put me out of my misery." And he's like, no. And he feeds her instead, which is, you're supposed to feed the clan and everything first anyway before you eat. And now he's out here feeding a loner before his clan and everyone else. So he gets in trouble, but he brings Yellowfang back to camp, and Blue Star ends up reporting that Wind Clan is gone. And they kind of take Yellowfang prisoner in a way, but like not really prisoner. They're kind of like, "Don't know what you're doing here. You're clearly Shadow Clan." And she's like, "I'm banished," kind of thing. I don't know if she says this now or later. I didn't write it down.
it's fine.
But Blue Star makes herself Firepaw's mentor at this point, but also punishes him by making him take care of Yellowfang, which is good and bad.
I mean,
Because
he's doing it anyways,
Yeah,
pretty much.
but now he has to like clean out her dirt and feed her and take care of her ticks and whatnot. And she is just sassy and sharp tongued, and they end up becoming great friends because of this, which is adorable. So he's like kind of upset that he has to do this, but at the same time, he's like, Yellowfang's great. So Firepaw gets a hunting assessment and he meets Smudge. And Smudge is now neutered, so he smells different and he's like heavy and he acts different. And Smudge is kind of like, "Who the heck are you?" And then he realizes who it is, and they're like, "Hi, how's it going?" I believe he's questioned about this.
Yeah, Tiger Claw sees him.
Yeah, and I think Blue Star asks him, and he's like, "Oh, it was just like my friend, like," and they're like, "Is this gonna be a problem?" And he goes, "No, I realize this is where I need to be after seeing him." They're like, "Okay." But Tiger Claw basically set him up to see if he'd go
Yeah.
home by sending him over to the two leg place to hunt for his assessment.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically wanting him to fail. I mean, some of them are wanting him to fail. Blue Star obviously wants him to succeed because they need more warriors, but there's
Yeah.
this hater group that does not want him to succeed. So Blue Star allows Firepaw, Ravenpaw, and Greypaw to go to the gathering. Oh, and Tiger Claw sends Ravenpaw to Snake Rocks, which is dangerous. They're basically told, "Don't go there." So they're kind of like, "Wait, why did he go there?"
Yeah.
And Ravenpaw comes back with an adder and is like, "Proud little kitty." And they're like, "Wow, you caught one of these snakes. That's awesome." But Firepaw starts wondering if Tiger Claw doesn't trust him because of the way Tiger Claw is acting. And every time Tiger Claw comes around, Ravenpaw like shrinks right up, is like little tiny kit again, and just isn't there. So at the gathering, Firepaw starts hearing a different story about Redtail from Ravenpaw than what he was already told. And he's kind of like light bulbs going off in his head of, wait, what's true?
Yeah.
Because this has shifted completely into a different story of, I think it was like they said Oakhart killed Redtail and then Tiger Claw killed Oakhart, but then he's hearing that Oakhart died before Redtail died.
Yeah.
So Firepaw's like, huh?
What's the truth?
So at this point, he's like, okay, there's holes in the story.
Mm-hmm.
So at this gathering, Broken Star demands hunting rights. And is like, Wind Clan wouldn't give them to me, so they're now gone. I think River Clan had already given a little bit, and Thunder Clan was like, no. And then he announces that Yellow Fang is a kit killer. And the queens start freaking out because she's at camp. So Firepaw goes running back and is like, oh my god, Yellow Fang. And she's like, meh, whatever. Like, I trust Blue Star to take care of it. Blue
No,
Star
she starts
allows.
running away, doesn't she?
No.
I thought she started running away, and he's like, wait, chill, 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 chill. Blue Star will take care of it.
No,
Or is that later?
later she disappears, and Blue
Okay.
Star kind of is like, you should probably go find her, kind of thing.
Okay.
But this Yellowfang's basically like, well, if they kill me, I don't have to suffer anymore, kind of thing. But Blue Star calms everybody down and is like, she's gonna stay. We have no evidence. We need to worry more about Broken Star trying to take our territory than Yellowfang. Yellowfang is kind of just like, I will go curl up on my nest now. Good night. She just doesn't care at this point. Ravenpaw, Greypaw, and Firepaw get to go to the Moonstone with Blue Star, which is like a journey that all apprentices have to make before they can become a warrior. Two Legs try and hit Firepaw with their monster during this journey. Did not realize this was what happened at first until I read it this time, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, they're actually trying to hit him.
Yeah.
I thought the first time I read it, I was like, oh, they're just, driving along and he happens to be in the way.
Mm-hmm.
No.
They aim.
They aim for him, and they're like, woohoo! And it's like, wow.
I found out people actually do that. Like, that broke me a little.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So fucked up.
People will do it to, any animal.
I hate people.
Right?
Jail time. Immediate jail time.
Right? They should. It's one thing if you're driving along and you accidentally hit an animal. It happens. But if you're like, hey, there's a cat or a raccoon or anything sitting on the side of the road, let's go off of the road to hit it. You're an asshole.
Yeah. I
Seriously.
literally, I accidentally not a raccoon, an armadillo ran out in front of my car and it curled up in the middle of the road, so I think it was fine. But I bawled my eyes out for 20 minutes.
I have hit a lot of chipmunks and squirrels, and every time I have cried. I'm like, no!
This is a dark turn to have taken.
I know, right? Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways.
They get to the mother mouth, and they, Ravenpaw and Greypaw stay at the entrance. Tiger Claw and Firepaw go inside, and they get to it, and Tiger Claw is immediately just like, fear. And he gets to the point where he's like, I'm gonna go check on the apprentices. He turns and he runs. And Firepaw is just sitting there wow. And Blue Star is just kind of whatever. So she lays down, does the dreams with Star Clan. She awakes and she's like, we need to get home. So they go out and they meet Barley the farm cat, who lives right near this. And he's like, hi, I'm Barley. And he's happy-go-lucky. We love Barley here. He tells them where to go to avoid the dogs, and they end up going right into rats. And Tiger Claw immediately is like, oh my god, you did this. And
it's It'd be like that sometimes, you know?
And Farley is like, dude, I had no idea. Like, I wouldn't have sent you here if I knew the rats were here.
Yeah.
Like, he comes back and helps them.
Yeah.
Blue Star ends up losing one of her lives, and she says it's her 5th. So they get back, and Shadow Clan is attacking the camp. In this attack, Lionheart dies, which is very sad. We love Lionheart. He was good, fluffy boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow Fang got into the nursery and was protecting the kits. She like backed herself onto the kits and was like, no.
So good.
She's such a
So
kit
pure.
killer. So Tiger Claw is appointed deputy, and Ravenpaw immediately,
It was like,
yeah, he is terrified, and Firepaw is like, what's going on? So Yellowfang gets welcomed into ThunderClan for protecting the kids, and people kind of like, okay, she's not as bad as we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger Claw then lies about Ravenpaw and makes him out to be a spy for Shadow Clan. This isn't like to the whole clan. It's like just to like some of his cronies.
Yeah.
But
Which, like, why?
he's like, oh, I was inside. There was plenty of time that Ravenpaw could have gone and told Shadow Clan that we weren't there and whatnot. And Firepaw overhears this, and he's worried about Ravenpaw, but he's also like, oh, yeah, you could also tell them that you were absolutely terrified and ran out like a kid. Firepaw's out here with the clapbacks, even if they're just in his head. So Blue Star takes Firepaw training, and he's like, this is the time to tell her about Ravenpaw. But at first he's so distracted that she, like, beats him up.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of shakes it off, and he's like, all right, I'm going to actually do this. By the time they're done, he realizes it's too late. She's already gone doing other things. Time has passed. So then Tiger Claw sent Ravenpaw to go hunt in Shadow Clan territory. And Firepaw is all, you know that's against the rules. And Ravenpaw is more scared of Tiger Claw than breaking the rules at this point.
Yep.
So he ends up telling Firepaw, Tiger Claw killed Redtail. And Firepaw is astounded, but also the way he's been getting treated is kind of like, makes sense.
Yeah.
So then Brindleface has kits, and Firepaw gets to go see him, and is kind of like, wow, this is neat. This is a really cool experience. That's kind of his first, like, look into the kit side of the clan, of how they're raised by everybody, because everyone's going in to say hi, introduce themselves, like, not really introduce themselves, but just check on the kids. They're a little too young for that.
Hi, my name is.
Hi, you were just born literally an hour ago, but my name is, you will not remember me in like 2 days. It's fine. Blue Star ends up taking Firepaw aside and for some reason trusts him enough to tell him that it was not her 5th life that was gone, it was her 7th. So she's only got 2 lives left at this point. So all of a sudden, like, there's this whole hullabaloo of Frostfur's kits have been taken, Yellowfang is missing, and Spotted Leaf is found dead. And immediately everyone is like, oh my gosh, Yellowfang has killed them and whatnot. But it starts pouring rain, and Blue Star is like, we'll gather things up and we'll go out as soon as we can. Right now, we're not going to be able to do much in this rain. So she says that, and then immediately turns to Firepaw and is like, go find her. Don't think she did this, go find her. So he tells Greypaw about Ravenpaw and Tigerclaw, and they decide right then they need to get Ravenpaw out of there. Before they do anything else, Ravenpaw's gotta go.
Yep.
So they figure out that they're gonna send him over to Barley, and they bring him to Four Trees, and Ravenpaw's like, well, what's gonna happen? And Firepaw's like, I'm gonna tell Tigerclaw you're dead. He won't go looking for you, he'll just be like, oh, my apprentice died fighting a battle or something. No worries.
Yep.
So Gravepaw and Firepaw then turn back into finding Yellowfang, and they find her, who says Broken Star turns kits into warriors and has murdered kits. He's turning like 3-year-olds into apprentices, and by the time they 3-year-olds, 3-month-olds, 3 moons. Sorry, can't get our time right. It's fine.
It's fine.
They're not supposed to be apprentices till 6 months, 6 moons. He's putting them as apprentices at 3 moons, and by 6, they are warriors. They are way too little to be in this. So she's like, they've taken your kits to turn into his soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point ish, White Storm and a patrol come along. And White Storm is like, Blue Star said we'd find some friends out here. This must be what she meant. And so they tell White Storm about it, and he's like, okay, what do we do? And Yellowfang kind of does a moment, and she's like, I actually know of some old warrior friends I think will help us. So she goes and gets them, and they come, and the ThunderClan cats and these Shadow Clan cats that have been banished from their camp. They're elders and like older warriors that just Broken Star has deemed useless and is kicked out of camp. They come up with a plan. So the elders take Yellowfang into the camp and are like, look, we found a prisoner. And then they signal for ThunderClan to come in and fight. So they all come in and they begin fighting, and there's a kit that's an apprentice that comes up to Firepaw, and Firepaw like just is like whack. You just like go lay down. Like, this isn't a fight for you. Just get out of here. He's not gonna hurt him in any way. He's just like, just go.
Puts him in his place immediately.
Yeah. So Broken Star is defeated. A lot of his little like cronies run off, and he ends up admitting to killing Ragged Star and some of the kits. And immediately the rest of Shadow Clan that was kind of on the fence about him is like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Get out of here. So they all chase him out, and the ThunderClan kits are now saved. So Yellowfang is what like asks if she wants to return to Shadow Clan, and she's like, no, I appreciate it. You guys are my friends, you're my fam, but ThunderClan's my home now. And so,
Cute. Yeah,
she with the ThunderClan patrol go back to camp. They bring the kits. Everyone's all excited. Frostfur is very thankful to like Yellowfang and Firepaw and everyone. So like any worries she had about Yellowfang are now just gone. Frostfur loves Yellowfang now. Because Spotted Leaf is dead and Yellowfang used to be the medicine cat, Yellowfang is asked if she wants to be the medicine cat, and she's like, yes, I will be your medicine cat. So then Firepaw is like, Ravenpaw's dead. And everyone's like, oh no, what happened? And he's like, he just got killed by like a warrior, like when we were fighting kind of thing, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they all believe him, which is weird because like, you have no body, but okay.
Yeah. Right?
But they're like, okay, like he's dead. And Tiger Claw then it makes this whole speech about how he died like an honorable death, and he was such a great apprentice, and Firepaw, Greypaw are like,
yeah, okay.
Seriously? You wanted to kill him. You wanted to blame stuff on him, and here you are being like, oh, my great apprentice. It's so sad that he must have died this way, but I'm glad he got an honorable death in the eyes of Stark. They're both like, just shut up. Like, we don't
they're like, okay, whatever.
And so then at the very end, Firepaw gets his warrior name of Fireheart, and Greypaw becomes Greystripe. And that they sit their vigil, and that is the end of the first book.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if some of that, like the lack of body, kind of came from not having, like, it was going to be 1 book and now it's 6.
Yeah.
It just was like a oversight of, oh, he's dead. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I think I don't know. I think it's one of those things too. It's like it's really hard for a cat to drag a body back.
especially when they're like apprentices still. They're still
Yeah.
basically like it's been a few moons. So he's probably close to a year old. Because
Yeah.
he was about 6 moons when he came to the clan. So
Hmm.
he probably is close to a year. Like, you're still kind of little.
Yeah. I mean, Moon is a year and a half and is only 7 pounds. So
Yeah. And like, I know for dogs at least, like you hit a year old and they're kind of like the height they're gonna be. Like their body has stopped growing, but they still have to fill out. They're
yeah.
not all there yet.
Yeah.
They kind of are lanky and they look kind of awkward a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
And they still gotta grow. And I know that for some cats too, of they kind of in their lanky, like not filled out stage yet.
I think people say that like a cat is full grown at about a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, he's probably just a little long, a little weird looking.
Yeah. He probably looks like scrawny as heck. He's
Hmm.
probably his right like height and whatnot, but he's just like no meat on his bones yet kind of thing.
Probably.
He
If I
used
had to
up all his
guess.
baby fat and now he's gonna grow it back.
It's so cute. The series is so good though.
Yes. I was thinking when I was reading that, one of the graphic novels I got is the story of one of the cats that helps Yellowfang, Night Pelt. It's like his story because in the next book he becomes Night Star and whatnot. And it's like their story of them getting kicked out of Shadow Clan camp because they are elders and they're useless, and he's got like a breathing issue, so he's not actually even elder age. Like
Oh.
he just can't breathe very well. So they're kicked out and they end up being more like a clan than the clan. They're taking care of each other. And they learn that like the kits, the like apprentices don't even know how to like hunt. Because they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you hunt for yourself and if you live, basically that's cool."
Yeah. Ugh.
So they're like over here in their own little camp, taking care of themselves, doing really good. And they're in better shape than the Shadow Clan cats because they've just completely like dropped the warrior code.
Hmm.
So,
I know there's also a graphic novel called like Tiger Star and Sasha, and I'm
yeah.
like, what the hell is that? What the hell are you?
Have you read the second series, right?
Not in the longest time ever.
Okay. There's
Yeah.
two River Clan cats, Hawkfrost and Mothwing, and they are children of Tiger Claw, like Tiger Star and Sasha. When he
Mhm.
goes and like gets the rogues
Mhm.
in book 6,
Mhm.
it's like around then Sasha ends up having his kids, and she ends up bringing them into the clans, but not Shadow Clan. I think she goes to River Clan
Mhm.
and doesn't tell anybody for a while. I think I have that story too here. Not the Tiger Star and Sasha one, but like when she gets to River Clan. There's one about Gray Stripe when he gets left behind when they do the big move. He gets kidnapped, catnapped.
Catnapped. Yeah, I know there's also a Ravenpaw one too.
Yep. I have one about Wind Clan.
I've heard too about the series, so I don't know if it'll ever end. Like I wrote that post about it, and it keeps getting updated, so I feel like I'm gonna have to check it every year and add to it.
Oh yeah, there's just more and more. I'm hoping like part of me wants it like it would be cool for it to keep going.
Yeah.
And part of me is like where they are right now, depending on how they end it, could be a good end. Because right now they're redoing the warrior code, basically. They realized it's crap and
Yeah.
they're redoing it. So I feel like that could be a good ender. But who knows? It's still so popular that Who knows?
Nobody knows. Yeah.
I know there's one coming up. Gosh, who is it about? Black Star. Black Star is getting a super edition or a novella or something. There's probably others. They're just gonna keep. They should just like do like the little side stories. That would be kind of cute to fill in
Yeah.
things and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
Fix
then
some
again,
of
they
their
do like continuity a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, they gotta fix some of their continuity issues too, so
Yeah, I don't know all of them. I know quite a few from listening to the Warrior Cast. What is that podcast that I listen to? One of them is like big, very knowledgeable on Warrior Cats, and so she knows a lot of like the continuity issues and stuff.
I wish my memory was that good.
What?
I said I wish my memory was that good. My memory's
Oh
awful.
yeah, same. I feel. I feel. Why do you think I wrote down like pages on pages of notes for everything? Actually, the Warriors series I've listened to and read so much that I actually did not take as detailed notes as I could have. But like I can pretty much fill it in based on what happens. But then I
Yeah.
get to like here, I'll show you. This is a like one of those like beginning middle grade books kind of thing where it's like very small chapter book, kind of like a first chapter book type thing. This is chapter 1. It's almost the entire page. That's how detailed I went with the notes because I knew I would not remember things.
Feel that. I feel that emotionally.
So I was like, oh, here's this book that's like probably a third the size of Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And it has just as many pages of notes in my notebook.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that sometimes.
Some of the ones that we're going to be looking at in the future, I have read multiple times recently, I should say, and then others has been a while. So there's some that I don't fully remember, which is why notebook.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you listening to this, I have filled up an entire notebook and I am on notebook 2. So we've got lots coming.
Lots of content.
We have
Lots
some
ready to
good
roll.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
And not all of these Rachel knows, so she'll be hearing it too. For the first
I'm
time.
excited. Yeah, and then maybe eventually I'll do a couple books here and there too, and then it'll be books you haven't heard about, so that'll be fun.
Yes. Because we've had a few that we both have read.
Mm-hmm.
Like this first series of Warriors, the first 6, we both read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know I did read the second series, I'm pretty sure, because I remember Firepaw going on a really long journey. But I think that was when he was like Fireheart, and he was like traveling to find them a new land or something.
Yeah, it wasn't Fireheart. It was Brambleclaw and Squirrelpaw from...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it was like...
Yeah.
He's still there. He's still a character,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but it's other cats.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I remember that a little bit, but it's like, again, I haven't read it since middle school, so
Yeah.
and I think I only got through the first 2 series. I don't think I ever got to anything else because I started like losing access to them. So
Yes, I think they're almost all on script. There is one in like the fourth or 5th series ish. I don't know exactly which number it is that is not there, but pretty much all of them are there.
I have the first series in paperback again now. I think it's in this apartment. I have to figure out where it is, but or in this rental house, whatever. But I have it, so
I've got
up.
the first 4, and then a couple. I have like the Enter the Clans, which is like the secrets of the clans, and the Warrior Code, which breaks down the Warrior Code and why things were put into place, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the a warrior will not give up the warrior life for a kitty pet lifestyle was actually about a leader of ThunderClan who decided that he was done and he wanted to go live in a kitty pet house. It's like, okay,
Yep,
that's
fair enough.
interesting. He was like,
Fair
I'm
enough.
old. I'm gonna go live in luxury. Goodbye.
It'd be like that sometimes.
That one was pretty cool. And then I have some graphic novels. My local bookstore keeps putting in more graphic novels, and I'm like, buying that. Thanks. So I do have quite a few of those, which I love. Those are good. But yeah, if you guys have Scribd, Warrior Cats is pretty much all on there. Some of the super editions aren't, the manga isn't, but like graphic novels isn't, but almost everything else is. So
Yeah.
knock yourselves out, go enjoy. I think I sent you the where I am in the series. There's like 40 something cats in ThunderClan right now. It's like, holy moly. We went from having nobody to, goodness gracious, you guys are like sleeping on top of each other. There's no space.
I feel like what you gotta do to like have this as a functional like chart, what they should have done is probably have it reveal book by book and then like eliminate the people who have died, you know? From the like if you go into the actual book itself, you can see that book's family tree. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, like, yeah.
Yeah, and then you don't get spoilers
Yeah.
and uh then you don't have to see everybody all at the same time. It's not nearly as overwhelming.
Yeah. That's for sure.
But I feel
There is
like
a
going back to
lot.
do that would be a big pain in the ass.
Right. Yeah, that would definitely be a pain. I could only imagine, like, especially with the continuity errors, having to go back and be like, all right, here is this family, and being like, oh, okay, so who is this related to this? All right, this one's related to this one. Okay, well then in this book, they're not related at all. Okay, weird.
Weird.
Huh.
It'd be like that.
Like, I think at one point it was like there were two siblings that had mated, and it said that they had mated, but then it was like in the next book or something they fixed it of they weren't. It was just like a, like, it was on the family tree, I think, of they had,
Yeah.
and then they were like, nope, wrong.
Like, is no one proofing this for continuity?
Right? Like,
Like, when you have four authors, you gotta have someone's job just be proofing for
five.
continuity. Five?
Five and an editor. I think at the beginning, like, this series was 3.
Okay.
But they're up to like 5 and an editor.
Yeah, when I googled it, I only found 4 people's names.
I think it says right in the website. It has them all listed.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to find it again.
Let me see.
So I was trying to like write it all down because I can tell you who I have.
Erin Hunter is.
Yeah, I got 4. I have Cherith Baldry, Kate Carey, Victoria Holmes, and 2T Sutherland.
Okay, we have Vicky Holmes, Cherith Baldry, Kate Carey. Wait, what? Now there's only 3. What the heck? Okay. That was weird.
So, 2D Sutherland fired, I guess.
The story team now consists of 5 editors who come up with the story arcs and write detailed outlines for what happens in each of the books. Kate and or Cherith then write up the manuscript, and it passes back through the story team for an edit, then on to the editors at HarperCollins. Once each editor is satisfied with the story, it goes on to a copy editor who makes sure all of the details are correct, and then it's published to go to the fans.
Interesting.
I feel like from what I've seen, the other, like, the newer stuff is more concise, I think is the word I'm looking for. Like, things are clearer, more put together, like, actually better detailed. I could be so far off, but that's from what I've seen in my reading of things are a lot better detailed.
Mm-hmm.
So
This also came out in 2003, so
yeah. And like I heard that this one was the first 6 books was supposed to be 1.
Mm-hmm.
So here you are being like, okay, we have 1 book, now we have to split it into 6 and puff them all up.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot that can go wrong in it. And if you're not really looking for the like continuity stuff, you're not going to notice it. A lot
Yeah.
of the fans notice it because they're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Like there's quite a bit that happens in the next few books that I have notes about. That is like, guys, what were you thinking? But in a way, it does make sense. So
But I think that's all we got today.
yeah,
Yeah. So if you want to find the two of us, make sure to follow at Novel Nostalgia Pod wherever you want on social media. We have an Instagram, we got a TikTok. Those are the main things. Follow those first.
yes, yes, yes. That's all I can say now. I am restricted to yes.
But I guess we'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Bye.
Hi.